Good evening and welcome to the Buddy Martin Show. Got a good lineup for you tonight. And one guy I haven't talked to in a while, one of my favorite guests of all time, Matt Moscona, who does afternoons on the ESPN all over Louisiana. And we have a good chance to talk to Matt again. We got a new guy that you're going to like. He's one of our newest columnists, and we'll talk to him soon. We've also got our regulars in Loren Meadows. So stay tuned. It's going to be a fun night. And guess what we're going to talk about? I know you're weary of talking about Lane Kiffin. I'm sorry. It's the biggest story out there. Everybody's talking about it. We all think we have answers. I don't think we have any, but let's talk about it. Matt's a really well-connected guy, and we'll see what our other guys like Ben Troupe have to say. Stay tuned. The Buddy Martin Show is now on the air.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Evening. Welcome to the program. It's going to be a fun night. My best wishes to Franz Beard, who's got strep throat. He's out tonight, but we'll be joined by some new people like Eddie Gilley, who'll be joining us, the new columnist of ours. And of course, Coach Loren Meadows will be here, and Ben Troupe. And this guy, who I'm really glad to get back on the air tonight. I'm honored to have him back. He is the big star in Louisiana, big star a lot of places. He's all over ESPN, everywhere in Louisiana. And if anything happens in the state of Louisiana, he's my guy, and he has been for a long time. It's great to see Matt Moscona again, man.
Hey, buddy. Good to be on with you, man. It's been a while.
It has. I think the last time we were on, believe it or not, was 4 years ago.
Has it been that long?
One of us looking for a coach. And you brought up Billy Napier's name, as a matter of fact, because I know you thought like many did. He was, after what he did in Louisiana, he was a hot prospect, and he was. But, that just goes to show you what we know. I mean, I've been wrong. Look at my Heisman Trophy leader list at the beginning of the year. Nobody's on that. There's coaches and schools on my list of people. I'm thinking, what? Indiana? Yeah, Indiana. So it's been a crazy year. And I'm not going to say that the new playoff system and the money has ruined college football. People can complain about the NIL deals all you want to. I want to hear your take on this. But, it's the going rate. And by the way, there were a lot of deals going under the table before this, as you know, and I know. So tell me about your thoughts are about, first of all, LSU, which has been in the news, obviously not in a good way. And, man, I tell you, Brian Kelly was toast. And I wasn't sure he wasn't going to have. As soon as I heard that Southern accent, I was beginning to doubt it. Your thoughts?
Man, I forgot. I did tell you back in 21 that Napier was taking that Florida job because it was a done deal. He'd been offered the job at that point and went to LSU, and LSU wasn't interested. They said take the Florida job. He was taking it. Man, that has been a minute. How much the world has changed, yeah. And by the way, buddy, I'm gonna continue to die on this hill. I do not believe Brian Kelly was faking a Southern accent. I know that's what the story that's been perpetuated. Listening to it live in that moment, I never thought it, and still to this day, knowing Brian Kelly the way I do, he's got a weird syntax, man. It's this weird mutt of Boston and Midwest, and he draws a lot and whatever. That's water under the bridge. But I'm stunned that he got fired, buddy. I did say for 4 years that the way I said it was for better or worse, LSU and Brian Kelly are financially bound to one another. And they are, for a decade.
Yes, they are.
So, and you're seeing that manifest now. LSU is they are not a poverty program, but they are not a wealthy program. They're not the type of program like some of those Texas schools that can stroke, like A&M, can stroke a $75 million check to buy out Jimbo 10 times over and never blink. LSU's not that program. And you're seeing it, buddy. The governor getting involved, all the hoopla, is Brian Kelly fired for cause, the legal wrangling, the semantics they're going through right now to try to lessen that buyout. It's because LSU's not a wealthy program, man. $54 million is a giant nut to crack. It's why this is such a big deal around here. So it's why I was stunned that they fired him, even as bad as it got with that A&M game. So, but here they are, man. And LSU and Florida are both in the market for a coach again in the same cycle. Although I'm pretty sure, buddy, that I will not be making a prediction of Billy Napier taking that job this time around in games.
Would you be one taking Lane Kiffin into taking the job? That's the question.
That's the question I think your fan base and the LSU fan base both want to know. And I know you can answer this better than I can, but it sure seems like there's a lot of people in Gainesville that are pretty confident that Lane's going to be the guy there. What I will tell you here is that he is the primary target here. Now, I do not know if he has a strong desire to leave Oxford. I tell you, 4 years ago, he would have crawled over broken glass to get to Baton Rouge and Gainesville. But a lot's changed in 4 years, man. And, and Lane, what I'm certain of is Lane is going to have options that will make him the highest paid coach in football, be it staying in Oxford, going to Gainesville, coming to Baton Rouge, if it's Penn State or the Giants, all the other things, crazy things we hear. But it sure sounds like he's going to have probably a decision to make whether he stays in Oxford or he takes the Florida or LSU job. But I'm pretty confident he'll be LSU's primary target.
Well, it's hard to say, and no, I'm not doubting you. And I've said from the jump, I think it's going to be hard for Lane to leave. It's hard to leave peace of mind. And there's a guy who's been tormented about it and openly talked about it. His goal being to have a statue out front. He no longer covets that. Sure, he'd like it, but he didn't covet it in a way. And again, not to go over the same old story, but seeing him at the table with his family. There's such a healing thing when you sit your family around a dinner table and you see how much he laps that up. And he makes his statements, I'll never be motivated by money. And, Jimmy Sexton goes, don't say that.
Yeah.
I
believe him, by the way. Do you? I believe him.
I do.
I don't think he's going to make money no matter where he coaches next year.
I thought of his money. I think LSU would have had it by now because they would probably have, although other tells me that they're not going to go any higher. And Ole Miss doesn't have that much. They can't go much higher than what they are. Now, I know about all the Grove collectives and all that, and who knows where the money's hidden, but I don't know. I mean, and the second part of this is we can't solve this tonight in a limited amount of time, and thank you for being on the show. Matt Moscona, a long time. How long have you been in Louisiana? 20 years?
I've been on air since 2003. So 22 years. Yeah. Did news for a bit, but this is my 19th football season covering LSU.
Okay. Love your stuff. Love your program. And love having you as a guest. And I'm going to prove to you why I think Kelly did do a fake accent.
Okay.
Because I have a good ear for that kind of thing.
Okay.
And I've been known to listen to a person for a while. I kid you, I'm not bragging, but it's true. And be able to tell within 1 to 2 states where they're from. And I'm pretty accurate with that. Like right now, I'm going to guess where you're from. I don't know. I've never asked you this question.
It's a pretty easy guess.
It's not Louisiana.
It is. I was born in New Orleans. I've lived here my whole life.
Man, you fooled me.
So, buddy, you just failed the test, man.
Failed it. I failed it. I just completely flopped on it. But you got an accent like someone from Midwest or slightly above, and it's like none I've ever heard. Now, wait a minute. Here's the key. Where are your parents from?
They're both from New Orleans. My family, both mom and dad's family got off the boat in New Orleans. Man.
Dude, you don't say south and moose and all that stuff like the Louisianans. I know.
I don't know, man.
Maybe you sound like Terry Bradshaw, even. I mean,
I'm a weird cat, man. I'm a weird cat.
Well, it's
Somewhere
good.
along the way, I trained
But it is good. But I swear I would. I would have lost the bonus right there. But I usually am pretty good at this. So you got me.
I
You got me
believe
good
you.
on that one. So, but nonetheless, the question is, you would know, and you're from down there. Let's talk about. Gosh, we could do 2 hours right now, and we got about 2 minutes, and I want to get this in. Go and you're good at this. Fill in these jobs for me. There's 13, 14, 15 of them out there. Take the top 5 jobs. Give me a school and give me a name where someone's going to go there. And you can leave Florida and LSU out if you want to.
Man, I certainly know much more about LSU than anywhere else. It's a school I cover on a day-to-day, but I'm kind of ear to ground like everybody else is. It kind of feels like Eli Drinkwitz is probably destined for Penn State. I think Ryan Silverfield from Memphis is probably going to get the Arkansas job.
How about Summerall?
I think Summerall is going to end up at Auburn. And, buddy, that kind of kills me, man, because I think if LSU misses on Kiffin, Summerall's the guy that I would want.
Really?
I love, man, he is. I just look at John Summerall, buddy, and I look different. You and I doing this conversation 4 years ago, my feeling is dramatically different now than it was because the world of college football has changed with NIL and portal and how it's evolved.
Yeah.
And my thought was always, man, if you're LSU, if you're Florida, you got resources. There's no reason to take an unnecessary risk. Now, recruiting's done with a checkbook, man. You got to have someone who can relate to the player, someone who can coach ball, and someone who's willing to win in this era and build a roster around the portal. And so, I mean, LSU just had the winningest active coach in college football, and he couldn't do it in this era. With all the resources LSU gives.
Why?
John Summerall's 43. He played at Kentucky. He's coached multiple spots in the SEC. He's been a head coach at 2 different places. He's got great energy, relates to the players. I mean, I think John Summerall, will wherever he is next, is going to crush it. I wish it was LSU.
You can't be a head coach at Duke. Wait a minute. I know what Florida did.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at Elko, right?
Oh, yeah. No, Elko. I mean, let's talk about that. Where are these guys coming from? I mean, my gosh, Texas A&M and it's all the situations, all the other. There's some coaches. We got look at Indiana. I mean,
Vanderbilt.
I love Clark Lee. I think
Great.
he's. But you know what? We also got guys who bleed their school colors. Why would Clark Lee want to ever leave? He's their Steve Spurrier or whatever. I mean, he's the guy.
He could leave for the same reason that Lane Kiffin would leave Ole Miss, is because he knows that no matter what he does, how hard he works, what he builds, it'll never matter as much there as it will in some of the premier programs, and he's probably got a lower ceiling. He could do great things there. He's probably never winning a national championship at Vanderbilt, just like Lane Kiffin could do great and has done great things at Ole Miss, but he's never going to win a national championship.
Just like
in
Brian
Oxford.
Kelly said he couldn't do it at Notre Dame, too. Look what happened there. He came
They
a lot
haven't done
closer with that. I know, but they came close after he left. They were in the finals. All right, I get what you're saying.
He got him there too, buddy. Brian Kelly got him into a 4-team playoff twice and into the BCS championship game.
That's the point, but he had to leave because he couldn't get what he wanted. But here's the truth of the matter is, and I'm sorry to keep you so long. And
no, we're good. I'm good.
And we got Ben Troupe's going to join us in just a second, and just to charge. And then we got Eddie Gilley standing by. But in the end, there's so many X factors. It's just hard to know this game anymore. I mean, there's so many nuances and so many things. And I said the other day, it may be something like somebody's wife going to school somewhere or a kid playing in high school. And I think about Kiffin, his situation with Layla. John Reese's daughter. John Reeves was a good friend of mine. He's a great quarterback, great thrower. And, of course, the whole thing with Knox, his boy playing it there and doing well as quarterback. So many little things. Because you know what? At a certain point, money just not going to get what you want. Steve Spurrier said he'll never take another job. First $1 million coach would never have. It was a mistake, and he would have never taken another job for money. So I'm available. I'm still pro Jewel. All right, my friend, give me one run over of the top. I don't pay a lot of attention to the 12, but you got to do when you start getting South Florida in there. You got to start thinking about that. Anything jump off the page at you, or are you thinking doesn't matter? We're going to see a final later on. What do you think about it?
Man, you talking about what the committee put out the rankings?
Yeah.
Buddy, I will be completely honest with you, hand on a stack of Bibles. I do not watch that Tuesday night reveal show. I don't even know what the rankings say. Because I'm gonna tell you what, and you're gonna wind me up and set me off. I'm not gonna take up too much of your time. But there are a few things that annoy me more about college football than a group of self-important dorks in a hotel ballroom in suburban Dallas arguing things like game control and defensive efficiency and not held to any standard or any burden of proof or anything. They will get to those last rankings and do whatever they want with no regard to what they've done prior or any of the precedent they've set. It's breaking college football. I cannot wait till we get to a 14, 16, 32 team playoff where we have an actual playoff where things are decided on the field. That's what I hope for.
I feel you, but this guy also agrees with you, Ben Troupe.
He was a good one.
Matt Moscona.
Man, I don't want to talk to Ben Troupe after what he did in 2003 in Tiger Stadium.
Hey man, I had a lot of hell. Listen, I give more credit to Rand Carthon and Seatric Faison, them boys. I've never met Marcus Spears in person. He wore number 84 at LSU, and I would tell him, I said, I didn't block you. It's just I couldn't, he was a bigger dude than me, so it looked like I was blocking well. I said, no, he just took me to where the ball was going, and I just happened to be there. I wasn't blocking him. So if somebody goes, man, you blocked me pretty well, like, nah, dude, I didn't block you. I just blocked a little better that game. But no, man, there's nothing like got a lot of friends that went to Clemson. I say, look, man, nothing against y'all, man. But Death Valley's is Baton Rouge. I mean, nothing against Clemson. Death Valley, the student section in Baton Rouge, they could do a documentary on it because they let those students in around, if the game started 1, they let them in around 11:30. I'm not saying they was drinking. I'm just saying that Kool-Aid was spiked. That stuff was spiked.
Hey Ben, we were drinking. I had my deal, bro. I had my flask. I would put it in my front belt pocket inside of my underwear band. Because nobody was patting you down right there, brother. I'm gonna tell you, I had it down.
Well, I respect it, man. Chris. People always ask why Chris Leak was able to have the career he had. His first career start on the road was at LSU in 2003, and I remember the great Willie Jackson Jr. That was playing for New Orleans at the time. He rode with us. We was 3-3. We had to go to LSU. And he told us before we got on the plane, he said, Ben, don't even worry about it. Because if y'all lose to LSU, y'all can't come back to Gainesville anyway. Y'all going to have to find real estate in Louisiana. But some great times against LSU, man. I played with a lot of guys in the league that went to LSU. Michael Clayton played with him with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Yep. And let me tell you something about them LSU boys. The Saints are the pro team, but LSU runs the state. The boot, it's all about. And I trained in New Orleans. I trained right there in New Orleans, man, with Tom Shaw. And I don't know how much crawfish and seafood I ate, but I ate way too much. I said, dude, are they just giving this stuff away, man? They're dumping on your table, man. It was crazy. Good times, though. Good times.
Yeah, Ben, by the way, just so you know, being an expert on dialect, Ben's from New York City, you can tell.
Hey, Ben, buddy was sure Brian Kelly faked a Southern accent, which I claim he did not do.
But I want him to guess where you're from.
All right, where am I from?
Where do you think Matt is from?
I don't see Matt probably like me. Matt probably from the South, but been around a little bit. I'm gonna say Matt's probably from like West Virginia or something.
Yeah, I'd say that too. Guess where he's from?
Where you from?
New Orleans, right?
Born in New Orleans, spent most of my life in Baton Rouge, man.
I never. You know what it is. You know what Matt is? When Matt is around other Louisianians, it'll come out. Yeah. Like when they're around each other, it just comes out.
Yeah, that's my dad, man. Yeah. You get my dad around people from New Orleans, and he'll go straight into hey, Hot, How you do? We'll go to the cigar bar. He'll lay it on, man. I mean, it comes right back to it,
Oh
man.
my gosh, that's great.
That's what the Cajun people in America from. They from right there in Louisiana. I said, listen, I know that Florida got a lot of gators, but down in Louisiana, hey man, they had that show down there. That dude that was on there, the swamp people and all that.
Swamp people, yeah, man.
Love the boot, man. I think the thing about the boot that people don't understand is I said, listen. People from New Orleans, that whole state is like a big family. The whole state. You can walk into a random house. They're gonna say, "How you doing?" They're gonna say, "Take care of yourself." They might throw, "How you doing, baby?" right there on the end.
There it is.
You know what I'm
Baby.
saying? It's just, I love it. Louisiana is a state unto itself. It's not like Texas. It's not like Mississippi. It's not like Alabama. It's just Southern, and it gets extremely hot in the summertime. Like,
They
dude,
ain't got no food. They ain't got no food down there. That's her problem.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. They're the only people that give you barbecue shrimp and ain't no barbecue sauce on
it. Hey, guys, we'll do this another time. It's great. Hey,
My
Matt,
pleasure,
so
guys.
good to catch up with you, man. And please come on again. Will you soon?
Anytime, man. You know that. Just call.
You're the best. Matt Moscona has a great show, too. I think it's a pun for the reviews, I recall, but it's the best show in Louisiana and several other states. Thank you, man. All right, so what's happening, brother? Put your headroom. You got too much headroom.
I got too much. What am I doing?
Bring your computer. Yeah, you go. Bring it down. Keep bringing it down.
Keep bringing it down.
Yeah,
hold on. Yeah. We good right here?
Yeah, you got. Now you won't less headroom anyway. But if you can, don't worry about it too much.
All
right. So, yeah, man, good to see you. And we're going to jump on here in a minute with Eddie Gilley, who's done some really good stuff for us writing wise. Shout out to Franz Beard. He's got strep throat tonight.
So yeah, I saw. Listen, congratulations. I know Franz ain't on. Congratulations, Franz. I saw that his book is out.
Yeah.
My as you can see, my Twitter handle has changed. I don't know. Somebody done hacked.
Oh, really?
Somebody done hacked my old Twitter. Ben Troupe 84. I don't know.
Really?
Listen. I'm a nobody, people. You don't got to listen. You can do something better with your life.
You're not a nobody.
But here's the thing, though, buddy. I like what Matt
there
just.
There it is. There's his book. Go ahead.
Now, exit the golden season. I will say this for Franz. I will say this, and buddy, you know, because you obviously a writer as well. To be able to write on something you are passionate about, and to know that people want to read it, I would tell. I don't know what Franz Beard's crowning achievement is. If you ever get one as a journalist, I don't know, but if Franz Beard got the golden season. Franz, if you and Franz are like historians when it comes to Florida Gator or college football, Franz Beard need to write a Franz Beard memoir, just talking about all the experiences, because BJ would always tell me this. BJ would say, man, he said, sometimes, man, technology has ruined the journalistic experience because everybody has the same. He said, back when you have to wait till the game is over. Then you got to do you got to put the tape. He said,
BJ's a fine writer too, by the way. Fine writer.
Oh yeah. So, but I'm happy for Franz. There's something about Florida Gator basketball that, I was blessed enough to talk to Teddy Dupay, and I was telling him, man, I said, how would you describe Florida basketball? And he said, you can. That's what he told me. You can't. You cannot describe Florida basketball, man, because he said Florida made everybody look at basketball different than the SEC outside of Kentucky. They made people go, wait a minute, man, they playing basketball down there for real down there in Florida. Like, yeah. And he says to do it in the 90s and the early 2000s, and the current 2000s, man, something could be said about that. So shout out to Franz, and like I said, man, I'm just happy that 2020, listen, that 2020, them 2024, 2025 Gators, if you want to call them,
right?
That's a season for the ages. And like I say, that guy right there, Walter Clayton Jr.
Yeah, boy.
The first ever, he's the first ever team All-American at Florida.
Yeah.
What in the world?
Yeah, and I'm going to bring this guy in here too. We're going to talk to him in a second. I'm going to talk about writing. Eddie Gilley, say the hello to Ben Troupe. Eddie does a fine job for us. He's in Danville.
How you doing, sir?
Doing well, brother. I'm going to get into our writing segment here because it's important. And I'm going to tell you folks, this program is brought to you by Meldon Law. Meldon Law is a place you want to go if you have any needs. for a good lawyer, and especially if you have need a good gator to be your lawyer, which is why Mellon Law is the only official law firm for University of Florida. We all know about what they do. They're going to have a special time coming up next week. Jeffrey Mellon is going to be there, and they're going to give away 10,000 rings, duplicate rings of the championship season for the Florida Gators. That's right. Give away to the first 10,000 people who come out to the O-Dome before the game against Merrick. Merrick, I think it's called the game. I don't even know the team. But the bottom line is, and we'll be there too with books down the road, and Franz Beard will be signing them. So it's for more information how to get that book, by the way, you can go on to the Golden Season Book at gmail.com, write them a note. They'll give you a price and all that. But so we're very proud of that effort. Great job by our team getting it together. I think you'll love the book. Franz did a great job of putting that together. So Eddie, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Been under the weather a little bit, as everybody in Gainesville has, but the crud is real.
It is real. Now, Ben, you have the heart of soul writer. You're old soul, Ben, and you have this. And this man here, Eddie, I've been really impressed with what he's been writing lately. He writes. He doesn't go out there and call the beat. He sits and watches and listens, and then he crafts a very fine column once a week for us. And I think he really actually said the obvious, and he was right. And he said what we all knew to be the truth. In his last column, he said, Florida's just not a very good football team. And that was the truth. And you absolutely nailed it there. But on the matter of things like writing, and on things like Oxford and whether Lane Kiffin is going to come there, and why he wouldn't maybe have a column up right now on that subject about Kiffin. And I've said from the jump, I didn't think he was coming. And now I'm beginning to wonder if I should change my mind about that. So I wrote a piece about it, and my son, Brenden, who's a producer, as you know, Ben, he's getting a lot of messages from people saying, lots of messages saying, I have heard he has agreed to the job at UF, et cetera, et cetera. And so I wrote about that, and I wrote down, we all kind of got Lane Kiffin fatigue. It's the story. It's going to be the story for a long time, and maybe our book next year. So what I wrote was, I said I didn't think it was coming, but I can understand the draw of Oxford. I want you guys to weigh in on this. Oxford, to me, is an exceptional place. I've been there a number of times, way back in the day when nobody knew what the Grove was. I've been there, and I've seen that, and of course, so we all know it's well known for its literary figures, as you know, Eddie, and you too, Ben, and William Faulkner being the main guy. And I brought this up because among the things that are charming to me, and maybe not to Lane, although Lane's pretty sharp on this, is that they've got this background literature. And I remember the first time I went to William Faulkner's house and looked at it through the moonlight of the magnolia trees and the pines shining down there, what a spectacle it was. And what I did was I wrote this column, and I wrote about, okay, what if William Faulkner wrote something about Lane Kiffin and used a allegory or a metaphor of Humpty Dumpty, a Florida situation being what it is. So I'm going to read you a couple of paragraphs. And I frankly never understood the Sound of the Fury anyway, but I mean, I know what a great book it was when it posted. So this is kind of fun, I think. Tell me, and be honest. I put this at the end of my column. I sat atop my wall, watcher and waited on, more a monument to the folly of hope than the century. My shell grown brittle, not from the wind, but from the long patience of time. He passed beneath Lane Kiffin, and all the king's horses turned their black liquid eyes, all the king's men leaning on fences where the white paint peels in sheets. And they whispered, too, about what a man carries and what a man must lay down. None knowing it is not the fall that undergoes or undoes you, but it is the thought though I have foreknowledge of the plummet. I held my peace, cracked but not yet shattered, while on the field below him I shone that same silty faith that maybe, tonight the reckoning could be postponed. There in the hum, the chill, before the snap, I saw it plain. Men like Lane Kiffin living betwixt silver whistle and the long gray hush, loving a game where your victories run through your fingers like Sunday water, and your losses last as long as the twilight. I am Humpty, and I have fallen. I know the song, and I know the silence that follows, the gathering, the hands that cannot fix what once was. I know that Lane, too, hears the footsteps on gravel. The wall has back, not stone, but hunger and hope and time itself. We are kin by falling. We are revealed by what we cannot put back together. That's William Faulkner, as he would have written that story. Now, as I said, I can't understand that either. But anyway, it sure sounds good, doesn't it?
I mean, yeah. I mean, sometimes, I mean, what they say, sometimes the best words are those that are misunderstood. And I think for a guy like Lane Kiffin, it's something you just said, buddy. I think at first he didn't want to come to Florida. Like, no, I don't want to come. But as he thought about it, he realized, dude, I didn't know that Florida meant that much. Like, you know how many coaching openings there are that no one cares about. They won't say that out loud. Oklahoma State is open. No one cares. Oregon State is open. No one cares. UAB is open. No one cares. When I say no one cares, people care, but they care geographically. What happens in Florida, that's national. Everything. So Florida is a bad team, and they're still a top 10 brand. Ain't that crazy? Still a top 10 brand, still the number one brand in the state, and you're a bad football team. Lane Kiffin says this to himself. This might be the last time I'm highly sought after like this for a school like that. Because if you don't think my brand can only grow at Florida, it can't grow at Ole Miss. He's a big brand at Ole Miss, and I'm not taking nothing away from him, right? But the only brands that matter at Ole Miss, last name Manning, and that would be Archie and Eli. They are the biggest brands at Ole Miss. I think for Lane Kiffin, what he's saying to himself is, it's what no man wants to say. What if? What if I don't go? What if I don't go to Florida? Or the same thing, what if I do? What if I do? Because I think we put so much on these coaches, they can't win. Like, because of social media, we put so much. Lane Kiffin can't even have a first day. It's almost like this. If he does come to Florida, his introductory press conference, it's like he's already had one. And he ain't even been to Gainesville except for last year. This is why I think Lane Kiffin will come to Florida. I'm listening to what he's saying about Florida, about DJ Lagway and all these things. He ain't really saying nothing that's bulletin board material. He's very safe what he's saying because he knows if I leave, there are certain guys I'm going to bring some guys with me, and there's some guys I want to keep in Florida. And DJ Lagway is one of those guys. I don't care what, because Lane Kiffin says I could do something with that. And I don't know what Lane Kiffin is going to do. But at one point, Lane Kiffin was he was the young, highly sought after coach. That only happens one time. He's not young anymore. Now, Lane Kiffin is saying, dude, why did Florida want me? Because if Florida wants you, that's a different phone call. That's a different Marcus Freeman. Of course he can say no. He's at Notre Dame. Ain't nobody going. I get it, Marcus. I get it. He wouldn't say no if he was anywhere else, though. Don't get it twisted. Notre Dame, that's touchdown Jesus. They got their own brand. I get it. I get it. But when it comes to Florida, and this is no disrespect to LSU, because LSU is a highly sought after gig. Florida's different. Urban Meyer told you what's man pick. They said Ohio State or Florida. Florida, he didn't flinch. Florida, he didn't flinch. And I think for a Lane Kiffin, for any coach, they want to know, dude, am I good enough to do that?
Yeah.
And I'm not taking nothing away from Ole Miss, and I'm not taking nothing away from Tennessee and FAU. I was with the Oakland Raiders, the then Oakland Raiders, when he was the head coach out there. Lane Kiffin was the head coach when I got out there. What I'm saying is, Lane Kiffin right now is saying to himself, coaches only get certain schools to build a legacy on. And I respect every coach, every player, every team. But BYU and Texas Tech was both ranked in the top 10. Did anybody care last week when Texas Tech played BYU? No. And we can say that now. And I respect them. But if I ask people this, where's Texas Tech at? In Texas. Where's BYU at? Where's Florida at? In Gainesville. And somebody said, where's Ole Miss? A lot of people don't know it's in Austin. They couldn't tell you that. That kind of stuff matters in
Hattiesburg.
college football. So I'm just saying, I think Lane Kiffin is coming, but I think Lane Kiffin is trying to play it safe right now.
Okay, well said. All right, it's your turn. You got the microphone, Eddie. Go.
Well, I can't disagree with anything you said there, except for the fact that I don't know if Lane. I have to be real careful because I always call him Lane Kitten. So just a personal thing. There's some character issues that I have about that. He's a great football coach, but one of the questions is, does he fit the culture that you're trying to build here at UF? You want a winner, right? At this point, you got to have a winner. But there's also the side of that coin where, is he going to implode when he gets here? Is he going to revert back to the guy who was at FAU and the guy who's running around and the guy who's at at USC and he's having trouble managing his life, right? That's the real question is he going to implode if he comes here under the pressure? Can he handle the pressure? Because right now in Oxford, he has zero pressure. He is the man in Oxford, Mississippi. He can do no wrong. He can do whatever he wants to do. They're going to say, fine. He's going to get whatever he wants. He's going to write his own check to stay there, and they're going to love him there, and he can win 10 games, and he can still be the man forever until he's ready to retire. But if he comes here and he wins 10 games and he doesn't get past the second round of the playoffs, Gator fans are going to be upset in 2 years. It's going to be a championship or nothing. So either you can come and handle that pressure and you can deal with it, or the pressure is going to beat you. And I don't know him well enough to say anything about whether he can handle that pressure. Can he handle the coaching part? Absolutely. Can he handle the turning the offense around? Absolutely. Can he handle being the man in Florida, the man of the national brand has been talked about? Can he be that guy? And I don't know if he can be that guy or not. And I don't know if he wants to be that guy or not. Because let's face it, he's 3 games away from being in the playoffs, and then he's 3 games away from being in the national championship. And if he wins that, is he really going to leave Oxford, Mississippi as the national championship coach? No, he's going to stay right there. And all the work that Scott Strickland's done and every other AD who's done behind the scenes is going to go out the window. So if you're a Gator fan, you better hope that the Florida Gators go in there Saturday and beat Ole Miss. As unlikely as that seems, you better hope that happens. And you better hope that Mississippi State somehow comes up and upsets him and kicks them out of the playoffs. Because if they get in the playoffs, they're a dangerous team. They have a chance to win it. They have a chance to scheme some people up. And before you know it, he's in the championship. And I don't think he goes anywhere if he gets in the championship.
Good point. Bring in Loren Meadows right here now and get his views. Say hello to Eddie Gilley.
What's up,
guys?
Hey, Loren, what's up?
What's happening? What's up? What with you, bro?
The one
what's
thing
up, Lauren? What's up, sir?
Sorry, go ahead. I just wanted to say real quick, and I'll look some other way that you guys talk, and that is that if you saw any of the special that they did on Kiffin, where they went inside of his house, and you saw shots of him, and Eddie, you would know this a lot more than I because you deal with these kind of things that are esoterical and spiritual and whatever. And he and I don't know him well. I know him a little bit. He looks like a changed man. He has a different set of values. And when I saw, I already wondered if he was going to come there. But after seeing how he interacts with his family, even though it's his divorced wife, and how he seems so content and so happy in Oxford, why would you want to leave happiness and contentment? I mean, it takes forever there, Loren, to get there. Why do you want to dump it and go someplace else?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the big thing that people are concerned about, or, I'm going to say concerned. That is one of the things that you have to take into account. And I heard Eddie saying, I mean, you got a lot of things going for you at Ole Miss that you may or may not have here in Florida. And, there's a comfort to being at a place, small town feel. They love you. They're going to let you do any and everything you want to do. And I mean, I think he's at a place where, and Eddie, like you said, this, sometimes you have to change your environment to have some contentment. When you're ministering to people and you're doing those things, sometimes you encourage people to maybe get some of that outside noise and or folks away from you so you can, get yourself centered. And based on that special, he's extremely centered in Oxford. Now, could he be centered in Gainesville? Certainly. But that centered going to come with 11 wins and some playoff runs. If not, it ain't going to be much centering at all. It's going to be left to center, right to center, and all jacked up in between. So I think that's one of the things that he's going to look at, where his family is, his relationships. And, it's a lot. And Ole Miss has a lot going for them when you look under the hood and the situation that they have and the way that they've embraced NIL and things like that. Those are headaches that you don't have to deal with that will be headaches at Florida. Florida is still woefully behind in some of those areas. They say they're going to improve, but they really are slow to do a lot of things. I mean, I deal with the UAA and some of the other issues, and it's not great right now. I know they want to say it is, but it ain't. And they got a lot of work to do. So, I spoke with a group a couple weeks back, and I said, when you guys moan and cry about Lane Kiffin not coming, look under the hood and then look yourselves in the mirror, because we have people that have not committed to the same way that the folks at Ole Miss have. So, it's a lot to be said for staying there, for sure.
Well, there's a lot of
Also-
things that you get. Go ahead.
Well, I was just say, it's a lot different in Oxford, Mississippi. Your money can go a lot further in Oxford, Mississippi, even than it can in Gainesville, Florida. And, you're paying a kid to come there. Yeah, you're Oxford, right? But Oxford's a great little town where if you're an athlete, you're still elevated really highly. And you're not that far from Memphis, which is the big city. So if you want big city life and big city fast stuff, you can be there in an hour. Because I was in Memphis last year and drove down to Oxford and spent the day in Oxford. Right? It's a gorgeous town. I went to see Oxford, and it's beautiful. It's a great environment. The Grove on a Saturday is as good as you can get. Gator fans who think that this is a done deal, I think are going to be disappointed, and they're going to be mad at Scott Strickland, and it may not even be Scott Strickland's fault because he may have done everything he possibly could do other than put a gun to his head and force him to sign, because you got Layla, whose roots are here. She loves Florida. The kids probably have grown up with John as the granddaddy, all the Gator lore. There's still a tie that pulls there. And if that and the money's not enough to get him here, then Gator fans, I don't think you can be mad at anybody if he decides not to come.
I don't think he'd be mad. I think it's to be disappointed.
You're not talking to the same people I am.
Yeah, I was gonna say I agree too.
I'll be mad. Mad if he doesn't come.
Mad.
He's gonna fire Scott Strickland if he doesn't get him.
I mean, justifiably so. I understand how they are. I understand, and the disappointment's going to be huge. That's the thing. We're in the precipice right now, like I said, of being Humpty Dumpty, right?
All your eggs in one basket, and the basket may turn over.
Like even the other night when I found myself when FSU came back and took the lead in the basketball, I thought, oh crap, now we don't even have that, if FSU beats them. So it's very sensitive time around here. And I'm going to leave this to you guys to decide. I want you to make a choice. You can't all have the same one. And I would say, if you don't get Lane Kiffin, then who do you get? I'm going to remind folks that Ben Troupe, of course, he's on here every week. Loren Meadows and Eddie Gilley is a new writer for us. Does a fine job. Has some good thoughts. So who wants to go first? If not Lane, who?
Hit it, Ben.
It's not Lane Kiffin, and this is not going to be somebody that I think everybody's going to necessarily love. I think Brent Key will be he's a person you can go after. But there's something to say about Eli Drinkwitz. Like he's not going to be – he's like weird enough personality-wise to just not care about what Florida Gator fans say, but he's proven – he has won in the SEC. The thing about coaching in Florida and in the SEC is two things. You got to have Southern ties. You got to understand how this goes. Eli Drinkwitz, I get it. Just like Billy Napier came from the Sun Belt, I get it. But he's been more than a good coach up there in Mizzou. I just think about what a guy like that could do with Florida infrastructure. Because I think the thing about it, Eli Drinkwitz is every coach that comes in is going to have some demands. I don't know what his demands going to be. I mean, Jim McElwain is the reason why we got an indoor facility. Jim McElwain, that was his demand. He got it. And like I said, I just seen a lot from Eli Drinkwitz. I would love it to be Greg Key. As long, I don't want to. Not saying it's gonna be. I don't want to hear about no Brian Kelly. I don't want to hear about no John Gruden. I don't want to hear about no Nick Saban. I don't want to hear stuff like that because Nick Saban, as great as he was, never won in the NIL era. Think about that. He did not win in NIL because he knew. Think about this. As long as I control the narrative, I can win. When the money get to move around, I can't deal with Texas A&M money. I can't deal with Texas money. I got Alabama money. They might have a place to get your oil changed. They don't got no oil. They ain't got breaking oil in Alabama. So I just think that for me, Eli Drinkwitz to me is a guy that, if it's anybody other than Lane, they're gonna get booed. Boo, who is that? Right? I get it. But I just like the fact that Eli Drinkwitz got hired. I mean, Eli Drinkwitz got hired at the same time Dan Mullen got hired, and he's still there. So he got staying power. So I like him, and like I said, I know it's other candidates, but I'm just thinking about a guy who's already won, who was in the SEC East. Now they ain't got no they don't got no size now. I just like the way he coaches, man, and he seems to be a guy that's weird enough to not care, but good enough to win. And in a place like Florida, you better have something to you. Because as they told me, you got two kinds of colleges. You got pressure and you got pressure cookers. Florida is both. It's pressure and a pressure cooker. And you got to be able to deal with it. And I think a guy like Eli Drink was his first introductory press conference. He was talking about the Sun Belt at the SEC Media Days. So, like I say, he's weird, but he does the thing that matters. He wins.
Great stuff. You're hot tonight, Ben. Here's a question for you before we go, and I'm going to go. Who wants to go next? Here you are. Our good one of our early regular listeners, Barone, wants to know this. What do you think, Ben?
Does former player? I mean, does the UAA care about football as much as former players do? Yes and no. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do care about it. But I think sometimes you got to look at who's in the room. You can't have people that are so far removed. Just because you work for the UAA doesn't mean you understand what you're doing. You got to be in tune with right now, 2025. And I know Florida has a great tradition, right? But if it ain't translating, you got the wrong people in the room. And I mean that humbly, because people be saying, man, I work in Florida. And, I'm telling you, some of this stuff that happens with these people in these positions, it's the people that get to make, because these are decision makers. And sometimes, listen, I'm gonna come up with the common sense society. It's gonna be an organization. We're gonna just sit in the corner and we're gonna say, excuse me, because do you know because think about it, the Giants, who's tops of the Giants list? The New York Football Giants, that would be Nick Saban and Bill Belichick. They're really having conversations about that. So that means you tone deaf. So do they care about it? Yes. Okay. But former players always care about it more because we sat in them seats, man. We didn't get hired by Florida. We chose Florida. That's a total different experience when you got to be the one everybody coming to see. But if you paid to work there, no disrespect to them. Yeah. Sometimes you out of touch. And I mean that respectfully, because if you don't know who Lane Kiffin daddy is, you out of touch. Even if you at Florida, you say, who's his daddy? You don't know who Lane Kiffin daddy is? Yeah, you in the wrong room, man. You shouldn't be in those rooms making decisions, because like Lauren just said, if it doesn't work out, he gonna say, look in the mirror, because there's a reason why they don't show up. They don't make those type of meetings public, because you know how many people gonna be like, what did they just say? There's a reason why those meetings are private, because the stuff that they saying in there, you like, dude, what are y'all talking about? This is with me not even, I was blessed enough to be in some of these meetings before, and sometimes you just raise your hand and just say, what are y'all talking about? That has nothing to do when they say, we're gonna have to pay Lane Kiffin how much? We can't pay him. What you mean? You better do something, because if Lane Kiffin don't come to Florida, it is going to get ugly. I'm just saying, it's going to get ugly if he don't come. We'll see.
All right. If he don't, who's he going to get, Lauren?
Who are they going to get, or who would I get?
Well, who are you going to get for them?
I keep saying it. First of all, Florida fans, I think get ready to be disappointed. Number one, and number two, I'm gonna be twofold. If you like Lane Kiffin, to me, why don't you like James Franklin? Same person to me. I mean, not as quirky, but if you look at the win-loss record, very, very similar, and only one has a conference title.
Well, I don't get that at all. I think
and a playoff bid. And a playoff
The
bid.
numbers might, sorry if I interrupt you, numbers might, but they're totally different kind of people.
Well, okay. All right. I give you that. But I'm saying we talking about winning football games at the end of the day.
All right, you got to go ahead.
But for me, I being a former coach, I think it's insulting to a guy like Alex Golish, who to me has done a great job at USF, has him playing well, runs an exciting offense. I think he'd be fun to watch. It's a total departure from what Florida fans are used to. It's proven to work at different levels at different schools.
Has him in the top 12, right? Has him in the top 12 right now.
So I would really take a look at Alex Golish. I know fans don't want to hear that. It has no splash at all, barely a ripple, but you're talking about a good football coach. So those are my two.
All right. Let's go, Eddie. It's your time to tee it up and go.
Well, I don't get either of those, so I think all those are good. I think Golish is a great one. Sometimes not making a splash is the way you want to do when you're making a high dive. You don't really want a splash. You want somebody who's going to make it perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But if I can't have those two, I'll go all the way to the West Coast if it's a wish list and get Jed Fish, a guy who has who's going to come back here and have some work. I'm always the wrong way here looking at the screen. So who has a heart with the Gators, and I don't know that you can get him. So that's the case. I did that blind column that we posted a while back on Gator numbers. Mm-hmm. And they're all the same. None of them are worth $13 million. Not a single one of them are worth $13 million. None of them are going to guarantee you a national championship. Nobody has any. The last national championship coach got fired, except for a couple of guys up the road that are there. And you're not going to get those guys out of Ohio State, and you're not going to get Kirby, and don't want Kirby out of Georgia. So who else are you going to get, right? Saban's tree is falling apart under NIL, as Ben said. His way of doing it not going to work anymore. So you're going to take a shot in the dark with somebody. And if you don't get Lane, I don't think it matters. Honestly, to me, it doesn't matter if you can't get Kiffin. I don't like Kiffin personally, so I won't want to be there as a fan. But I will not. I've said it. I won't buy any new gear as long as he's there until I see that he's changed as a person. And if he has, that's great, wonderful. And then I'll stand corrected and I'll say, all right, I see he's different and he's different. But until then, I think he is a great football coach, and he would be great for the school at UF if we got him.
Buddy, can I ask a question?
Sure.
And I'm glad Eddie brought that up, and I'm not here to, but I was talking to another fan of the show, and he brought up kind of some similar things when you talk about Lane. And I'm gonna say this as I'm making an abstract statement. I'm not judging Lane Kiffin's character. I am not making a point. I'm not putting myself above Lane Kiffin morally or anything like that. But I'm asking you, buddy, because you've seen them all. Does that matter in the big scheme of things? Does it matter?
Well, let me ask you this: would you take Urban Meyer?
Yes, I would.
Well, a lot of people said, well, after his behavior, what happened in Jacksonville and the incident that happened in his restaurant, he didn't deserve to be the coach. And there's those people. They make it's okay to make moral judgments about people, and other people will say, I don't care as long as you win games.
Well,
Eddie brings
but
up
he's college, but Urban Meyer is college football royalty. That's way different. That's way different.
I'm the biggest.
Is Bobby Petrino still in coaching?
Yeah,
he's still there, ain't he?
Yeah, but I hear what you're
saying. But I wouldn't want him.
All I'm saying is, in NFL circles, Urban Meyer, no. But there's a lot of coaches in NFL circles. In college circles, what? Urban Meyer, the Urban Meyer, yeah. People, listen. They still thinking he's coming back to Utah. They still think coming back there.
Ben, could he do it under this new system of the NIL?
If I believe Urban Meyer could do it for the simple fact that Urban Meyer, no matter what, every coach, like every player, has an ego. Every last one of them, no matter what they say. And Urban Meyer don't like that. He don't like how you saw him last. Even if it was Jacksonville, he don't like that.
But can you do a mat drill with guys who are making $2 million per year?
If it's like this, I will say this about Urban Meyer.
Do you need a mat drill to win?
Well, here's the thing about Urban though. The one thing I know Urban Meyer ain't gonna do, he ain't gonna beg you to play. Because if he got to beg you to play, he got to beg you to stay. He ain't gonna do that. If he give you that money, that's gonna be his call. Hey, do wait, because Urban can talk to you. Most guys ain't got no pedigree. Most guys don't got that. Who you think you talking to? Urban does. He can be like, dude, it ain't his money because, dude, we gave you $1 million. What you mean? And I think that's the thing about college football now. He's like, look, Kirby Smart is only successful, man, because he could talk to these players. He got a pedigree. It ain't but what? Him, Dabo, and Ryan, they ain't but 3 active coaches got national champs. So most of them ain't gonna win it anyway. I think what Urban Meyer is he willing to change how he is? Not who he is he willing to change how? And I think that's why it'll be hard for him to win it, because nowadays these players making money. Are you not practicing hard because you ain't practicing hard? Or you not practicing hard because I don't really F with you like that?
Well, but
who knows?
I think you could mold men and not be great to your woman. I mean, I really do. I think the two are not, locker room culture and the way me and Miss Marsha are here at the house is 2 different total things. So, to your point, buddy, and I know you and I, basically when we first met, we discussed, our affinity for Urban Meyer and how we respected him and what he did. I think that, but I'm asking, is there any moral component to, as a whole, the acceptance of a head coach? Like what happened at his restaurant, that's between, but I don't think that has any bearing on your role as a head coach. It's like,
we don't have much time. Yeah, we don't have much time, but I think, Loren, it does matter when you're talking about an institution. It's different in an NFL franchise and an institution where you have presidents and board of directors, and you have a governor who's sitting in the seat in Tallahassee who has a lot of input there. He's not a direct boss, but it does matter to those that the flagship university of the Florida academic system does not have somebody running its most visible program who's doing things that are going to be in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. In this day and age, you can't get away from that.
I got to end it here.
I mean, that's a good point. That's the question I asked.
Yeah,
but go ahead, buddy.
I've got to go. I want to say this real quick to Eddie, and this, we're going to get all, a lot of people are not going to like this, but the fact remains is they're playing by the rules today. The rules are money. There's something very scriptural about money. We all know the lust for money, according to the good book, is the root of all evil. And of course, that means now people will turn their heads. They'll turn their heads on, well, okay, the guy had he had that little problem back in Cleveland and he raped a woman. I mean, I'm not saying that would be okay. I'm just saying we're willing to accept a lot now because the money speaks. And that's the problem we got to deal with at some point in time, whether we like it or not. That's it. Eddie, great job, buddy. Benny, boy, it's good to see you, man. Troopster.
Yeah, man. Listen, as you see, Ohtani, he won another MVP. The Tampa Bay Rays are actually in Tampa now. Congratulations, buddy. They're actually in Tampa now. And guess what? Listen, we didn't do it to each other in 2020. No, we didn't do it to each other in 2024, but 2025, I got a brand new set of Brave hat. I'm just going to wait on you. I'm not going to bring them out until you bring out your Tampa Bay. I'm just telling you. As long as you don't bring yours out, I don't bring mine out. We good.
Okay.
We good.
All right. Good night, Lauren. Thank you, man.
All right, guys.
Yes, sir.
Take care.
All right, now.
All right, great show tonight. Really good stuff. Thank Matt Moscona, boy, he was terrific, and Eddie on his debut, and then Ron did a great job tonight, and of course Ben Troupe, our regular, and Coach Loren Meadows. I'm going to tell you about my friends at Titan MRI and Imaging. They have 3 locations. They're terrific people, and we love them as a sponsor. 2 in Gainesville with their Park Avenue location now at the Millennium Center. 1 in Lake City, serving all of Columbia County. And Valdosta, Titan MRI and Imaging offers the same great customer service, except insurance, or you can go through their convenient self-pay option program. They offer MRIs, CAT scans, X-rays, ultrasounds, easy scheduling, which means you can get a night appointment if you work in the days. But this is the thing I love. And I love this because I've had MRIs, and I don't like getting into those small tubes. Let's face it, we all have a little bit of claustrophobia in us, and sometimes that gets to us. And that gets to me, but I can go there, and they have the larger MRI machines, so you can get in comfortably and not feel like you're going to be suffocating. So, yeah, check them out. Titan MRI, it's your choice. Thanks again to our great guest tonight. Thank you for listening and watching. We're back. We'll be back this weekend. It'll be fun to watch what happens up in Knoxville this weekend, folks. So check it out. I'm sure you will be doing it, as will I. So I'll say good night to you, and we're back at you again on Monday.